All right, this will be a bComplete setup. So we're doing 45-second rounds of work, 15-second rounds of rest, and you're doing 2 in a row of each station before you switch to the next one. As far as stuff you're gonna need, small weights, so light dumbbells if you have them, cans of soup, cans of natty, something like that. That's gonna be light for some rear flies. Split squats, you'll need a bench or a chair to put your foot up onto, and then you need some space to do some tricep push-ups there. So we're gonna start out in 5, and we have world's greatest stretch for the first one here.
You guys will see the timer in the background kind of counting down for that 45-second interval. In the world's greatest stretch, if you'd like to stay on one leg for 45 seconds, you're welcome to. If you'd like to switch legs as Ben is and will, you're also welcome to follow that pattern. And then as Ben mentioned, about 15 seconds of rest between sets. If you're comfortable going 2 minutes straight here on World's Greatest, we can. Otherwise, in about 15 seconds, take 15 seconds to rest, and then we'll do it again, same thing. Trying to get a big hip flexor stretch there. Good glute and hamstring stretch as well. Nice pec stretch. Little air, guys. Five seconds out, same stretch. This should look pretty familiar for most of you guys if you've been into Ben's classes before. The next stretch coming up is going to be next exercise is going to be a walking lunge. If you're tight on space, you might go 2 or 3 reps in one direction, turn around, do the same thing coming back, but it should be a left leg, a right leg, a left leg, and a right leg. 15 seconds out on the stretch, and then we'll take 15 seconds to recover, and then we'll go into a walking lunge. 5. 15 seconds off, guys.
So walking lunges will be next. If you have a weighted object, if you want to hold on to a milk jug or laundry detergent or a backpack with a bunch of stuff in it, that would be an option too. Otherwise, just body weight's fine. If you take your time with these, get good deep reps, you're dropping that back knee down to the floor or just about to the floor. And the weight shifts into that front leg. So it's the front leg that's doing most of the work. You're trying not to push off that back foot for these reps, but pull yourself forward with the front leg. 12 seconds to go. 4. 5. And again, shifting that weight forward, and then each rep you're coming up tall in between each one. So there's a little bit of balance in between each step. And then just breathing throughout. If you can exhale as you come up on each rep, that's good timing. Otherwise, just trying to keep consistent breathing, whatever works best for you on this one. So you got another 25 seconds, and then next one's gonna be down on the floor for bicycles. 12 seconds to go, a couple more steps. 4.
5 seconds out of bikes, guys. On your backside, should be right elbow, left leg, left elbow, right leg. Nice, easy pattern. Don't worry too much about the speed here, but nice controlled reps. Big extension, that leg that's pushing out. If this was more than you would want in your core or your back or your hip flexors, you keep those knees bent a little bit. So as you reach out, keep the knees kind of bent in that crimped position. Think about opening that rib cage up though. Let those shoulders kind of flare back into position. Reach the right elbow back, left elbow back. Nice big cross body pattern. 10 seconds out. 2. Good little air. Ben's gonna start this round with both feet on the ground and then pull one knee across the body, so leaving one heel attached to the ground. So almost cross crunch-ish. It's a big regression if you're looking for it. Both feet are down, pull one leg off the ground, set that heel back down, then the other side. So instead of staying elevated out there in space, you could modify this pretty aggressively to be a more manageable exercise. So that is a heavily modified bicycle, but if and when, settle back into that normal position. Well over halfway in, guys, 20 seconds out. After this exercise, we're gonna go into a hand release push-up. Chest to floor, hands up, hands down. I'll demo that. 10. 3, 2. All right, guys, hand release push-up. Big push-up position, hands up, hands down.
And as with all of our push-ups, the body stays in a nice straight line, so knees, hips, shoulders, everything moves together off the floor instead of peeling yourself up. All the way down to the floor, hands come up, and then drive those palms back down into the floor. You can always go down to your knees on this one. Change that angle a little bit, not quite as much body weight that you're pushing up, but if you're doing these well, even from your knees should be pretty challenging. You got 8 seconds to go. Taking some deep breaths in between each set here. Back down all the way to the floor, and chest and stomach should all come down at the same time to the floor, so it's not just stomach first and then gradually chest, but it's everything together. Good exhale every time you drive yourself away from the ground. Yeah, 25 seconds here, and just good core tension too, so abs are engaged the whole time. It's a plank as you're moving up and down. 15 to go, and then next we'll be in a single leg rear fly. So you're gonna need those light weights or cans of soup or whatever objects you got there. 5 seconds to go.
All right, guys, single leg, rear adult fly in that 1 foot position, almost a single leg RDL. Should be a nice big static hold. The right leg on bend is extended, the right glute's tight, left glute is tight as well. If your stability is not fantastic, you can put that right foot down, kind of use it like a rudder if you need to. Otherwise, focus on stabilizing on just that left foot. And an easy modification for the stability is either carpet with padding under it, which is a more normal thing to have. That would increase the instability. If you're on tile or hardwood floor, that would be a bit easier to manage. 2. Here in about 5 seconds, guys, switch legs, same exercise. Right foot carries the load. You can maintain a full foot contact to that right foot. The weight is distributed, likely most in the heel, but the full foot has contact. Left leg's extended up, left glute's tight. Nice slow pattern in the upper body. Draw back, squeeze the blades, easy release. Draw back, squeeze the blades, easy release. 20 seconds out. The next exercise is going to be a plank position. So on the back side of this, get into a plank. It's a plank with lateral toe taps. 10 seconds. Three.
So starting out in just a good plank position on the elbows and on the toes, and then reaching out to the side. You're going for some distance out to the side, but you don't need to necessarily max it out. And you're not shifting your weight into that toe, you're just tapping it down to the floor. And the whole time, hips just stay nice and level with the rest of the body. Not letting that butt get way far up into the air, but also not letting it sag down towards the floor either. 15 seconds to go. This is one that you could go down to your knees as well. You gotta take your time a little bit more, just as that transition is a little awkward with 2 points of contact with the knee and the toe, but an option to take some of that tension out of the core. And good, resting 15. Back on to 2, 1. And the feet are close together when they come together. You don't need a wide stance for this one. And just looking straight down at the floor, so neck and head are in a good alignment with the rest of your back. And then consistent breathing throughout this one, 25 seconds to go. Next one's gonna be some split squat jumps. After 15 more seconds of these, 7, 1. All right, nice there. And then split squats.
You know, so that at least I get to do tricep between. All right, guys, split squat jumps. Quietly on the impact if you can. If you're up on an upper level and you have neighbors below you, perhaps it's more of just a reverse lunge or some lunge-based pulses. But following along if we can, little pop, little switch, pop, switch. The arm integration is key to assist yourself through this movement. That being said, if you felt strong, just put your hands across your chest or hands on head, and then don't use your arms. And get back in that split squat jump. 15 seconds out. 5. 3, 2, pop switch, arm integration is good. If you wanted to start the set without it, hands across the chest, hands on your head, jump and switch. If you get that back knee tight to the floor, you'll feel a little more effort, a little more glutes, a little more hams. Breathe as you can here, try to stay in control. 25 seconds out. 15. After this exercise, we're gonna go into a wall tricep press. Make sure you have enough wall space that is clear to do some triceps. 5, 2,
So these are essentially another push-up variation. So again, it's a plank position. Everything moves together, shoulders, hips, legs. And you're leaning that weight forward, up onto your toes, or at least most of the weight is in your toes, even if your heels stay down. And you can adjust the angle. If it's feeling a little too easy, back your toes up. Hands slide down a couple inches. You'll be at a steeper angle. 12 seconds left. If it's feeling a little too intense, tiptoe forward 1 or 2 inches, hands come up an inch or 2, and then you're pushing into those hands, push into those palms. 3. 5 seconds time, guys. Back to triceps. And as far as hand position, you usually want your hands to be at about eye or forehead level when you're in that top position, when your arms are extended. If your hands are a lot lower than that, you'll end up bending the elbows a little too much and lots of times putting more strain in the elbow. So hands at about that forehead or eye level usually give you a pretty good position, and feel free to adjust a little bit if you need to. 25 seconds to go. Now next one's gonna be another lower body one. We're going to some split squats off the bench or chair. 12 seconds to go. You should feel a really good burn in your triceps by now, and then core is working the whole time too. 6.
'All right, guys, sometimes we refer to this as Bulgarian split squat, sometimes as a rear foot elevated split squat. The form in this exercise is the same regardless of the name written down or instructed by Ben and I. It's a good demo there. A lot of weight in the left heel. That left knee can come forward a little bit, but we are trying to maintain as much left glute, left hamstring as we can. If you wanted to think about an external cue, think about that right knee or the back foot you have elevated, that knee coming down tight to the floor. So think about dropping that knee down, sit down into it, and then use the other glute as a little bit of a break. 10 seconds left on this side. 5. You might feel the back leg quad a little bit. If you feel it a lot, then try to reduce the load on that back foot. There's a large percentage coming from that front leg. The back leg is more of a rudder or a brake, but it should be heavy, heavy, heavy front foot. And from this side, if you were to look at the screen, at the bottom of Ben's rep, you can see kind of that knee, hip, shoulder all in alignment. So at the bottom, that back leg incorporates with the torso into a nice long leg, and that right leg is doing all of the pushing and lowering. 25 seconds out. After these split squats, we're gonna go into a single leg glute bridge on the floor. 15 seconds. 10. 3, 2. Good. On your back, guys, for a single leg glute bridge.
So notice how you're driving through the heel on this one. You want to make sure the glute's doing the majority of the work. You might feel some hamstring, some quad, but the glute is really doing the most on this one. You get into that top position and holding for just a second. Get a good lockout, good squeeze of the butt on that left side if you're down on your left foot. And you got to exhale every time you drive into the floor with that heel. 15 seconds ago. Another 5. Good. Breathe a bit in between here. And this is one that if you go through it kind of sloppy, it's not going to feel like you're doing a whole lot. If you're really focusing on using the glute, pushing through that heel and squeezing the butt at the top, you can get a lot more out of it and feel the whole back side of your leg, your hips there. You want to think lifting that belt buckle up towards the ceiling. So you're driving the whole hips too, and you're not overarching the back at the top position either. So it's just a nice straight line from the shoulders to the knee when you're in the top position. 18 seconds to go here. And then we'll be going into a rocking plank. So you'll be staying down on the floor for the next one for a core drill. 8 seconds left.
Alright guys, as Ben mentioned, it is a rocking plank up in a standard plank position. Lean the body forward, lean the body back, keep the core tight. It's not about speed, it's about tension, so try to keep the glutes snug, hips are kind of rolled under into place, the rib cage is drawn down. Nice easy breathing, but very controlled. Just get out of that normal plank position a little bit, a little more weight on over the arms, but everything stays snug there. Maybe 6 to 8 inches range of motion is what it might look like on your screen. 10 seconds out. If a standard plank is appropriate, drop down standard plank, or not drop down, excuse me, just rest into a standard plank. If that was hard as well, then you would drop down, yes, to knees and just a standard plank. 10 seconds out. Second set. 3, 2. Core stays tight. If you feel your back sagging, you might lift your hips up 1 or 2 inches to just give yourself a little bit of leeway. But everything stays snug. 20 seconds out. After our rocking plank, we're gonna go push up with rotation. So stay down on the floor. You'll end up in a push-up position instead of a plank position. 8 seconds here. 3, 2. Good push-up position, guys.
So first part's just a normal push-up here, getting low, and then you shift all that weight to one hand there, to one shoulder, while you reach the other one up. And those eyes follow the hand too, so you're turning that head as you reach up. You want an extra wide base with your feet on the push-ups here to allow you to do that rotation. If you're too tight, you'll be losing some stability and possibly tip over backwards. And just reach vertical, just go straight up towards the ceiling. If you try to go behind yourself much, it's a little extra strain on that down shoulder and potentially you'll roll over backwards too. So 5 seconds left. So it's a lot of shoulder stability on that side that's supporting all your weight. So you can avoid the rotation if you're feeling really unstable with your shoulders. You have any real shoulder issues, if that's feeling a little too much with it. Another option is to go down to your knees on this. The one thing about going from the knees is that you need to really get that extra wide base to get a good reach. Because then you're going to be limited a little bit by your upper body, your upper back mobility, your T-spine mobility. So keep that in mind, toes or knees on this one, or a combination of the two, depending on how you're feeling. 18 seconds to go. And then we'll be staying down on the floor for a single leg V-up next. Last 10.
Five seconds out, guys. Single leg V up. 2 hands up overhead, up to left leg, 2 hands up overhead, up to right leg. If your low back's going to give you some problems on these, you might think about not coming as high. It could be more of a crunching motion. Ben has a demo now. Also, if you need to, you could bend that knee or both knees on the way up. tap the heel, bend the knee. So reduce the lever length quite a bit, reduce the range of motion. But if you're able to, nice big body, single leg V-ups, almost reaching towards that sock on the leg. 5 seconds out. 2. Back to single leg V-ups. You could also think about driving the opposite heel in the ground. So as you're coming up with the left leg, drive your right foot down. That should give you a little bit of hamstring activation, and the other leg almost assisting you on the way up. 30 seconds here, same thing. And with most everything we do, it's not necessarily about speed here. Nice fluid rhythm, not using the arms too much for assistance, but if you need to, you can throw them a bit just to initiate that rep. In 10 seconds, we're gonna rest, and then we're gonna go into in-out squat jumps. 5.
So in-out jumps, it's just a light tap when you're in that inside position, when your feet are close to each other, and then when you're wide, you sit into that squat. So you're not trying to get a lot of height on these, it's almost more of a shuffle, just getting your feet a little bit in, a little bit out. So there shouldn't be a lot of impact, shouldn't be a lot of noise for you. 25 seconds to go, and as you sit into that squat, the knees stay pointed out towards the toes. We don't want them caving inward. And you can get the arms into it, into a good rhythm too, just to keep you at that consistent tempo. 12 seconds left. 5. So this one should get the legs working and get that heart rate up. Take some deep breaths, we'll do another 45 seconds there, and then we'll be back to some more core. So you're good, you have good balance on that squat. So notice how the heels are coming down when you sit into the squat. But then when you're in the middle, you're mostly just up on the toes. So the squat, you sit back, butt goes back. 25 seconds left. $15 to go, and then it'll be down into another plank movement, plank with opposite reaches coming up next. So you'll be down to the floor. 6.
'Alright guys, plank with opposite arm and opposite leg reach. This is pretty progressed here. If it was more appropriate, just a single leg lift or a single arm reach would be fine. If you've got some foot stuff, it might make more sense just to move the one arm. If you have more shoulder stuff, it might make sense just to move the one leg. 15 seconds out. Trying to stay pretty balanced in those hips, that low back should stay stationary. 3, 2. Then in this movement, think about trying to load the body. So anticipate that load kind of coming across the body. Prep for it, brace for it, then move as gracefully as you can. And again, the regressions are there if you need it just the arm or just the leg. But if you can, push opposites, pause for half a second, draw back in. Find yourself, find your base, push pause. 20 seconds out. Next thing is going to be a 45-degree mountain climber. Kind of rotating the hips, pulling one knee under body. 10 more seconds here first. Three, two.
So 45-degree mountain climbers, these can be done with or without sliders. There's different options there. Letting those hips rotate on each one. And you're bringing that knee towards the opposite elbow. You don't need to come up and make contact, but you want to be getting up in that direction. So you are coming across and you have a target. And then consistent breathing. There's going to be a lot of core. You're basically doing a crossover crunch. And then a lot of shoulder stability. 10 seconds to go. Last 5. And good. So it's kind of a medium speed on these. Don't need to burn through it, but at the same time, you don't need to go slow motion either. If you do have some back issues, you can definitely go a little slower if you want to. But kind of a good medium speed is good for most people. So it does get the heart rate up a bit, but at the same time, core and shoulders moving as well. And you can see he's turning his head a little bit with each one. "30 seconds to go. "18 seconds left, and then we're going to be down for another core one, a side plank hip drop. Last 10. Three, two, one. Good.
I got side plank position. If we're able to, nice long body. Hip drop, hip press. Ben's gonna show you regression here pretty quickly. Bottom knee down on the floor. Same movement though, that bottom knee should shorten the lever length quite a bit. Hips up and down still. Alternatively, take that right hand, instead of reaching to the ceiling, put it on the floor. Give yourself just a little bit of assistance there. So if you are stronger than that bottom knee 90, but can't quite make it 45 seconds, side plank, put the hand on the floor, a little bit of assistance. 10 seconds out. Two. Again, same thing on the other side here. And again, that bottom knee can come down if and when it's appropriate, but that bottom oblique should be working pretty hard to drive the hips up. So nice big squeeze, focus on that, let it stretch back out. Nice big squeeze, drop back in the hole. 20 seconds here. Next thing is a sprinter start. We're up on our feet. It's similar to that single leg jump, no back foot contact, but we will have a back foot contact. 5.
So it's a bit like a single leg RDL where you're getting a little bend in that front leg, the right knee, but you are reaching back behind you quite a bit. So it's different than a lunge. You're not trying to drop that left knee down low. More just getting a little push off the back toe. Opposite arm and leg coming up together. 20 seconds to go. And depending on your situation, if you can't make a lot of noise, can't jump much, you just stay low to the floor. You're not really gonna be getting a lot of air on this one anyway. 8 seconds left. 2, 1. Good, and you'll switch sides, but yeah, this one should be a good burnout. If you're keeping good rhythm and getting that push through the front leg, you're gonna feel this one. Heart rate up and legs burning a bit. So we'll go back on in 3, 2, 1. Try to get the arm and leg combination down. A lot of people have one side that usually goes pretty well, and then the other side doesn't go so well with the coordination. But it's that opposite knee and elbow driving forward on each one. And nice and tall at the top, so that leg gets straight, hips are in good alignment with that foot, shoulders are up high, head up high when you're in that top position. 20 seconds to go, and then we're gonna have fast feet, which will be your last of the working stations here. 15. Last 10. Probably just have Kyle do the fast feet after this too. 3, 2, 1.
Fast feet my way on out of here. All right, guys, in 5 seconds, fast feet. Think about little taps, quick little taps on the floor. Here we go. That's good. Never seen Ben do fast feet. He's all right.
Work this move in the club a lot.
Shimmy on back with some fast feet. 30 seconds out, guys. Sometimes the arm integration helps you stay in a nice pattern. Don't think about it too much, you'll get stuck. 10 seconds. All the way through. Two. Over there doing a rain dance, I think. It's actually sunny here today. 5 seconds out, one more fast feet, and then we'll drop right into stretches on the back side of that. 2, fast feet. Yeah, that's good. Sometimes it helps to turn the hips side to side. If that confuses you, don't worry about it, but sometimes a little shuffle side to side just gives you something else to focus on. Then after these fast feet, guys, we're gonna change our work and rest intervals to 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off. We'll go through quite a few stretches with you. 15 seconds. 10. 3, 2. All right, guys, in about 15 seconds. First thing's gonna be a figure 4 hamstring. It's also kind of called like a hurdler stretch. About 1 foot in towards the inside of the knee. Lean the body forward, reach out for those toes. If the toes are way out of reach, just grab that ankle or shin instead. Give yourself a little pull forward. You might take a deep breath or two and then think about dropping the chin down. So try to relax that neck. Let the head kind of sink into place. We'll spend 30 seconds on this one leg. Take 10 seconds to rest, and then we'll do 30 seconds on the other leg as well. So 5 seconds out. Quick switch of the legs. 2, and right into it. Let that head dangle, relax, a couple deep breaths. Think about taking your rib cage forward a little bit. Shouldn't be too aggressive, just a nice cool down stretch here. The next stretch coming up is a butterfly stretch. 2, We'll go feet together here, guys. Draw the feet in pretty tight to body. Nice tall posture. And then from there, think about, if you can, setting those knees down in space a little bit. So let those legs kind of float down, the knees open up. Some of it is a little bit of pressure from the forearms, but some of it is also just a release mentally. Just let those legs sink down, stop protecting, just let them fold out. 5 seconds here. You take 10 seconds, kind of flutter them a little bit if you want to. Let's go into a core stretch, guys, next. Ben's got a good demo. Hips are gonna settle into space. If you have any low back issues, be very, very gentle here. You'll probably reduce the range of motion considerably. We don't want to feel a lot in the back. Think about more through the core. Kind of keep that rib cage closed down, find some tension. 5 seconds. All right, guys, next one's gonna be a backside figure four stretch. Find a wall. You likely want to put one foot into the wall, one foot over top of your leg, and settle in here. So there should be quite a bit of stretch on that left side, my left glute, left hamstring. Sliding the body in a little bit toward the wall or toward the bench would increase that stretch. And we're likely pressing against this knee just to open that hip up a little more.
And this should be in a pretty good relaxed position, so you shouldn't need to have that head up. Once everything's supported, you can push that knee a little bit, but beyond that, there's not much effort that goes into this one. Just take deep breaths. With all of our stretching, just good deep breaths help you get a little more into the stretch. And helps with that recovery as well from the workout. 12 seconds left, and then you're going to have a kneeling hip flexor stretch coming up next. So you can use a pillow, a rolled up towel, something like that. It's usually a pretty good idea to have something under your knee so it's not quite as much pressure right on the knee. And then we do this one sometimes with the back foot elevated, either up on a couch or a chair or a bench, but you can do it fine without any elevation too. You're tucking that tailbone underneath. So instead of arching, you're tucking the tailbone, getting that posterior pelvic tilt, and then a slight lean forward. You shouldn't need to go very far forward with this one. You're feeling that tension down the front side of the leg and the hip. So quad, hip flexor, all down that right side if you're down on the right knee. A lot of people make a mistake on this. They don't tuck the tailbone and then they can lean forward. You know, they can go 2 feet forward with their upper body, but at that point they're not getting much out of their hip flexor. So shouldn't need to lean forward very far to feel much of a stretch here. And then just good deep breaths, trying to breathe into the stomach there. Glutes tight on that left side too. 12 seconds left, and then we're gonna have a standing quad stretch. 2. Do a move. Pick up, Ben. All right. Standing quad, guys. If you need some stability assistance, grab something. If not, just nice tall position. Kind of same idea. Think about squeezing that glute. Pull the ribs down. So instead of arching the back, leaning backwards, open the rib cage. Should be more of a crunch base. Try to get as much tension as you can through the core. Maybe a little bit of a quad contraction, kind of pressing down with the foot into that left arm if you wanted to. 5 seconds out. We'll switch sides. Just keep that knee pointed straight down towards the floor. What you want to avoid is twisting that knee out to the side. That's why I like to hold with the opposite hand. Sometimes you can keep that knee a little more straight down until you fall over.
5 seconds out. Next thing is a wall pec stretch. We don't have a vertical wall. We've got that TRX thing to kind of work off of. You'll have the corner of a wall. Think about grabbing a corner of the house, put your arm into it, rotate that chest around, open up. We place about 90 degrees off the body. Ben's got the demo there, but rotate into it. 10 seconds.
Right across here, shoulder, chest, maybe even bicep a little bit.
2. That might be an easier visual for you guys in that position there. If we load the left arm back, left leg's likely back as well, and turn the body, rotate away from, within reason. After this stretch, we have one more thing we're going to isolate. It's the neck and or trap area. 15 seconds out. 5. 'And there's our demo. One arm behind the body, the other arm's going to pull down gently on the head. If you change the chin angle, kind of the direction of your look, you'll feel a different stretch. If you're looking straight ahead, it'll be more side of the neck. If you were to tuck the chin down towards armpit, kind of tip your head, rotate it, and then drag down, that would be a little more in the back of the neck. So change the chin angle to kind of match where you might feel tight. 5 seconds, same thing on the other side. 2. 15 seconds out, guys. The last thing of the day here. 5. Yep, that's it. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for stretching. See you guys soon.